Alright, welcome back everyone to another video, and today we're going to be talking about why strange sickle-armed creatures with dunce caps and markers relate to the title of this video. But I promise, I will tell you, it's not clickbait, okay? Just listen and hear me out, okay? So, we're going to be talking about these strange things today, because, when I drew them, I thought they represented children. Now they just look like serial killers, I don't know. Fair enough, but I would like to say that when I was a child, and probably when a lot of you were children as well, there was a dream we all had, which was to collect all the Expo markers, or whatever other brand of whiteboard marker you use. In my case, it was Expo, and you would collect all the markers and stack them on top of each other, and you would make a giant sword and have a sword fight, and then it would break immediately because you were a child, you didn't know about structural stability. You'd go like here, and then it would just fall down, and it was all in good fun. And also you could write on whiteboards, which was the primary goal and what most people used it for. But you could also sword fight, and it was cool and it was fun and everyone liked it. But I would like to relate expo markers to the actual topic of this video, because what you do is you put them together, and you have a lot of fun, and you play with others using them, correct? And they're easy to put together. It's not particularly hard, it's not particularly unintuitive. You just clip the thingy into the other thingy, and voila, you have a weapon of mass destruction. Now, the only reason I'm talking about this is because playing games with devices that are easily put together is not the topic of this video, because today we're going to be talking about assembling a gaming computer. Yeah, so basically the reason that I decided to build my own computer was because, before I made videos for you guys using my dad's computer, and that was the computer that he actually used to do, work. I couldn't just walk up and say, "Hey, Dad, I'm gonna get you out of this very important meeting so I can play Minecraft for all, 77 of you," I don't know. And, yeah, that was in the bad old days. But now, we aren't cavemen. We have technology. But you see, the first and hardest part about doing any of this is that, is the boxes. So, say that my leg didn't come off, and, say that, you open a normal box, you're ordering your Pokemon cards or whatever, and the normal box is very easy to open. You just go like that and that, alright? And then you can go play Pokemon or Digimon or whatever the heck this is. I don't know. Yeah, and and then you can be like, I play Pot of Greed. I don't know. I just got this randomly off of random images. I don't know what this is. It's just a trading card of some kind. But anyway, that's a normal box. But now I'm here to talk about something that's not a normal box at all. A computer component box. I get the feeling that these were specially designed by psychologists to be as hard to open as possible, because it's got 7 different hinge flaps and a lock, and it makes sense. Obviously it's a very important and rare computer part, but at this point, why would you take so much precaution? It's impossible to get into even if you do legally own it. There's there's on some of them there's even timers, and then if you if you don't open the box in time, it'll self-destruct, and all sorts of crazy stuff happens. But yeah, that's the hardest part about building a computer, is just opening the boxes. Alright, and look, if I don't know what this is, but it looks like the face of whoever designed these boxes. They're cackling in glee at the fact that, this guy is trying so hard to open this box. Yeah, but then we move on to the actual building of the computer. Alright, yeah, so at this point, we're going to talk about actually assembling the computer. Because once I'd gotten all these parts out of the fiendishly clever boxes, I had to install them, and this was no easy task, because we've got all of these different parts, and you've got to put them all into this one thing. first let's talk about the motherboard. Pretty much, the motherboard is probably the single most complicated thing to plug into because it has so many different things to plug in the rest of the things. So yeah, generally the first thing you do is you put the CPU into it. The CPU is basically the actual computer. It computes everything, and yeah, and so you put in the CPU to the motherboard, and then you hook up all like your other stuff like memory and your power supply and your CPU cooler, and yeah, eventually oh yeah, and also like your solid state drive for storing things. Yeah, and eventually once you're done with all of this, you just shove it all into your computer tower. Obviously, this is a lot more complicated than I make it out to be, but just shove it in, and voila, you've got your computer. Now, obviously, there are some very complicated things about all of this, including, you know, the fact that just shoving it all in isn't really easy at all. Alright, so because the CPU, you gotta flip it around and make sure it's the right way before you put it in. And then you gotta attach the cooler. Now, this cooler was the bane of me. It was the bane of my existence for quite a long time, and only with some help from my parents, I finally managed to get it in. Pretty much, the problem with the cooler was there was this one screw. Okay, just pretend that this is a screw, and it just wouldn't go in. There was no way to fit it in, something was wrong, and eventually I figured out the problem and put it in, but that screw is genuinely a horrifying thing. Yep, so that's the things. So, next up is the memory, because, I mean, memory is always important. So you just slot it in. The memory was actually fairly easy to put in, thanks to stuff. And then next part would be like the drives, just to store things. That's easy. But then comes the really terrible, horrible part, which is the power supply. Because without the power supply, obviously, the whole thing fails. Now, the thing about the power supply is that it's got a bunch of different cables with pins, you know? Because there's 24, 12, 6, 8, all of that. And it's impossible. It's genuinely impossible to figure out where all of them go. So you just hope for the best. You go, and eventually you get them all in by some force of will and sheer dedication. I don't know. Yeah, so you finally plug the power supply in, but now comes the really hard part, which is screwing everything into the motherboard. You just slap the motherboard into the tower and then screw it in, and then the power supply you also have to screw in. But for some reason, my power supply was different. It decided to be a rebel, you know? It started wearing, like, dark clothes and staying out past curfew or whatever those people do. Anyway, what happened was it wouldn't go firmly against the side of the case, so you couldn't screw all of them in. Eventually, we managed to screw them in, but it was like, I don't know, wrestling a bull on steroids that has also been wearing red glasses for its entire life and has also been poked in the butt by a very sharp sword. I don't know. That's what it was like. And eventually, though, we managed to get it in. Yes, and then the computer worked. Except not really, because it never works. You see, the next problem came when we tried to turn it on. It would just, you see, computers have this little LED, or the motherboards do, a lot of the time, where it's just like, they show you different codes for different errors. So if it's like, I don't know, a code 48, then everything's working. I don't actually remember the actual codes, they're in a book, but yeah, if it's code 48, everything's booting up, or if it's code A4, then your computer's a sheet of paper, I don't know, and, like, code 69 means that your computer's fallen in love. I don't know. Just pretend I know what these mean. But anyway, I finally hooked up the computer to a monitor, and it flashed this code. And the monitor didn't even turn on. It was like, no input found because your computer is being awfully quiet today, you know. Maybe you should go outside and get some exercise. And I don't want to listen to you, computer. You don't prioritize my health over your turning on. Anyway, the computer was stuck at A0. The monitor was completely blank. You know, nothing on it at all. And, we pretty much, you know that case, the pride and joy of the culminating accomplishment. Yeah, well, we had to open it and do the things again. And finally we got it closed, and everything was back in the case, and everyone was happy, yay, yay. And, guess what happened next? Same thing. Yeah, it turned out that the case had a problem with closing on the memory, or like something. Yeah, I think that's what it was. And, yeah, that was a very hard time for everyone. And, eventually we did manage to fix it, and now I'm sitting here recording on it today. No Minecraft videos yet, because Minecraft has still not been installed, but, yeah, fair enough. And, yeah, that's pretty much the story of how my computer is a horrible thing that should really not be good. There is one final thing about computers that I failed to mention, because you see, when I first got my computer, I was in the Shadow Realm, everything was dark, you know, I was like, I will never figure out how to do this. But then, my eyes opened, and I saw everything that could be done, including my absolute favorite part about all of this, the RGB. You know, I was in a world of delight because I love spurious colors on random things. I don't. This is sarcasm for those who couldn't tell. And, like, I was, like, over the moon, you know? Finally, my computer will glow at night and wake me up. This is what I've always wanted. Yeah, the thing is, I had to, like, plug in a bunch of extra things for the LEDs to work, and, when they finally did, I really couldn't figure out how to turn them off, so now my computer is just glowing at all times when it's on, and sometimes I, like, run it through the night to do things, and it's really annoying. Yeah, but that brings us to the end of computer designing montage. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. If you do not like the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment so that I can get big and people can make Mr. Pseudonym exposed videos and people will care. So, yeah, either way, if you like me or not, you still have a motive to subscribe. And, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Goodbye. Dana. Dana. Alright, boss. I've just gotten word that there's someone who doesn't like our RGB products. Alright, Agent RGB, you know exactly what to do. We want everyone to like the flashy lights that we put in our motherboards. Let's go. Yeah, you better go. And make sure that it's taken care of immediately. Alright, boss, I won't fail you.